Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another party prep. If you enjoyed this video, I have lots of videos like this because I've always done my kids' birthday parties from home and I try to do as much as I can. So tonight, it's Thursday when you are seeing this portion of the video. This is a couple days of footage in one. It's actually 5 hours of footage edited into 1 hour. So I know it's a long video, but I hope you can stick around. Which one do you like better, longer or shorter videos? So anyway, it's a couple days before the party and I'm starting on the cake. So right now I'm just lining the cake pans and the cupcake liners I'm putting in and just doing all of the baking at once basically, especially because it's nice to go ahead and freeze your cakes or refrigerate your cakes ahead of time so that when you ice them it's a little bit easier. So I have that all set up and I also have my oven preheating to 350 degrees. I am baking with gluten-free cake mixes today, so you'll be seeing me pour in some bags of cake mix. So in my dream world, I would have like a go-to cake recipe that was gluten-free, but I haven't found that yet. For my daughter's first unicorn birthday, because she's had a couple unicorn-themed birthdays, I made, or maybe it was the second, no, it was the first. I made a gluten-free cake from scratch, and it had like almond extract, and I don't love that taste. That was the only time I tried to do like a vanilla cake from scratch. I don't know, I just always like depend on the quick like box mix, but it would be cool if I had like a go-to cake recipe. So if any of my gluten-free people have a gluten-free cake recipe, please let me know where to find that. And then this time I did finally make my own icing. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I've just always been too afraid to make my own icing because one time it like melted all over my cake. I probably didn't let the cakes cool long enough, or I didn't have the right consistency of butter. But this time I got a buttercream frosting recipe from my friend Kelly and it came out perfectly. I'll link it down below or I'll write it down below. But I also noticed that on the back of like the powdered sugar bags there's also icing recipes, so you can try whichever one you like. But I feel pretty confident in my icing skills now after making like 5 batches of it for these cakes and cupcakes. It is actually pretty quick, you know, only a couple ingredients. It's usually just butter, powdered sugar, vanilla, and heavy cream. At least that's what I used, and you can't go back to buying icing after that. Like, it just tastes so good. It's delicious and so easy. You just have to make your own homemade icing. Now the next problem is getting the colors right with your homemade icing, because I try not to use like the regular food coloring. The natural food coloring is what I use, but whichever one that I have, it just does not come out vibrant. So here is where I first went all wrong. If you watch my videos, you know I leave my mistakes in so that you can learn from me. I just tried to check this off the list and I tried to bake everything at once. The 2 different cakes and the cupcakes, and I will tell you the vanilla cake was it just came out so incredibly dry. Whereas if I had my, had them in separately or just had like the 2 different cake mixes in separately, I don't know, maybe I would have checked the times more differently, but I took the vanilla and the chocolate out at the same time, and the chocolate was perfect, but the vanilla was just really dry. You actually see me throw away vanilla cupcakes a little bit later in this video because I went to go icing them, and they were hard as a rock, and I was like, there is no way I can serve this. So I wound up ordering some mini cupcakes just from like Instacart at our local grocery store. So while all of that is baking, I'm working on my icings, which I have another little lesson to teach you. I was pretty happy with this purple, honestly. It did the next day seem like a little less vibrant than this for some reason. But so here's the lesson that I'm going to teach you. I made my icing ahead of time and put it in the fridge. I think you could have left it out as long as it wasn't like too hot in your house. So I'm like all ready in my apron, ready to go and icing my cakes and my cupcakes, and everything is hard as a rock. Yes, that is very much common sense, but I just wasn't thinking since it was my first time making icing. So yeah, don't do that. And if you do that, just make sure you take it out a couple hours before so it could thaw out and you could icing your cakes. So this one was like a teal-ish color. The this is like pretty much as teal as I could get it. And then after all, it didn't really matter what colors I wound up doing because you could barely see them with all the decorations that I did on the cake. But anyway, this by far was my favorite cake that I've ever made. The difference between this cake and my other cakes was that I took all of my daughter's favorite cakes that she saw on Pinterest. We always look up different themed things for their birthdays. Me and all my kids, like, we love to do that. Birthdays are a really big deal in our house. We plan them all year round, and it's just like when my kids are falling asleep or they're saying like they're worried about something, or they're afraid they're going to have nightmares, I always say, let's think about something happy. Like, let's talk about your birthday party for this year, or like, it's just our thing. We love to do it, and our whole families come, and it's just, it's a lot of fun. So the difference with this cake is that I was kind of just made on the fly. Like, first I was like, oh, I'm going to do an ombre mermaid cake because that's a popular one that pops up. Then I was like, oh, I'm going to do like the mermaid scales. No, I'm going to do the cake drip. And like, I just kept like ordering random stuff to be able to make the cake. And then at the end I was like, wait, which one am I making? And then I decided to combine all of the different cakes that she likes into one. So it had a lot going on, but it was my favorite. And it was my favorite to make, honestly. Not the baking and frosting part, but the decorating part was my favorite. So anyway, I got done my goal for the night, which was to do the baking and make the icing. And then now I got these letters from Michaels, and I'm spray painting them like a little purple color. And then once this dry, I'm going to do like an ombre effect with a teal glitter. And I just thought this came out so beautiful, and it literally took like 10 minutes altogether.
Don't deny that I could use some company. All my friends say, honey, just let him be. Now your perfume stuck on my shirt, and there's an imprint left in my bed. I don't know about you, but put you first. I bought some new flowers, they're all dead. First you are in, then you are out, like snow.
So we're headed back inside while that dries. I am just wrapping up the cakes now that they're all cooled off. I usually let them sit in the pan for 10 minutes, and then I put them on a cooling rack until they're completely cooled. So another thing that I like to do for parties or any kind of event that we're doing at our house, I always love to add some fresh flowers. So I actually picked up these flowers from BJ's Wholesale, and they just were the perfect colors for the party, and they're beautiful and just add like a really nice fresh element.
Doubts and doubts and doubts in my mind. Still, you make me feel like we could be something more, something more. First you are in, then you are out, like snow in the spring. I just want your time. I just want your time, oh, oh, time. I need your time. 365, 24/7, I'll be fine.
Alright, so it is the next day. I'm out here with that teal glitter spray paint and just finishing up that. And then I'm headed back inside to where I think I'm going to start icing the cake, and then you see that I'm just like, wait, this is as hard as a rock. I can't icing yet, so I started on the other. Basically what I try to do is like do all the things that make a mess first. That's just what I try to do. So spray paint mess is done. I did have Chris go in and spray paint the other side, even though I wound up putting them up against the wall, but if we ever want to use them for future parties, we can put them like out on the island, and they'll be painted on both sides. So here I am. I have our gluten-free cookies, which I could have just got regular because I didn't even wind up eating any of these. And then I'm using my chocolate melting pot and just melting some chocolate. If you want to make your parties look extra cute and special and have little cute treats out, all you have to do is melt some chocolate and buy some pretty sprinkles, and things look nice. So I'm going to be dipping the cookies now, and then later on in the video you'll see me do the pretzels. The reason why I didn't do the pretzels right away because I forgot to buy them at the store, so otherwise I would have just knocked them all out at once. But yeah, I'm also going to be using this chocolate to put in some mermaid molds. and I'm just gonna use this little piping bag here to pipe everything to the chocolate. This was my first time doing these little chocolate molds, and I was like, wow, like I always see these molds at Michael's for like different holidays and themes, and I was like, I have to do this more often. It's really cute and fun, and you can always add glitter and sprinkles and all that stuff to this, but I was really happy with how this all came out.
How did we end up here in the corner, looking like enemies? We used to be the team people talk about, what a chemistry. I can see it in your eyes. You don't wanna talk anymore. I wanna get so numb while we enemies. No, you don't mind the way I stutter my words. You know exactly what it means and how it hurts. Oh, I can't believe you're here. Can't get any worse. No, no. I just wanna get out of here. I find it so hard to breathe. 'Cause when you get too close, I lose my way and I freeze. I wish you knew what power you have over me. But now it's so hard to breathe. Just get me out of here.
Now we are moving on to our fondant, and for this I'm just going to be making some mermaid scales out of it. I did do a couple of these in the mold. Luckily, my friend, you can follow her on Instagram, Sweet Confetti. She's like amazing at all things desserts, and she does lots of DIYs and stuff like that. I consulted with her for the molds because I know that she's used these molds before. Not the mermaid scales, like the actual like shell molds. And I was like, I got fondant for them, and she's like, oh no, use chocolate. It'll be so much easier and prettier, whereas I thought like chocolate would be scarier. But yeah, the chocolate was definitely easier to work with than the fondant. So I just did like a couple of shells with this. But anyway, I'm making scales, not exactly sure what I'm doing. I have no idea how this is going to go. I wound up mixing some teal with some purple as well, and it just all came together. Sometimes when we don't have a perfect plan is when it actually comes out the best.
So hard to breathe. 'Cause when you get too close, I lose my way and I freeze. I wish you knew what power you have over me, but now it's so hard to breathe. Just get me out of here. Just get me out of here. Wow, wow. I could lie wide awake and leave my head up in space. Countless nights and days.
I really wanted to get started with my cake, so I thought this texture was like just not the best. And again, this was my first time making the icing homemade, so I was like, okay, let me just throw it back to the mixer and mix it up a little bit. But with the other ones, I didn't even need to do that. I was just able to use them straight out of the container, and this was probably just like unnecessary. But again, I was nervous because it's my first time using it, and it just came out really well, and the taste is just amazing. Who here follows me on Instagram and saw this reel on Instagram before watching this video? I actually, like, once I was done making the cake and like watching the reel, first of all, I put like a lot of love and effort into my, like, anything that I do. That's just how I am. But I also just, it felt really good to be like proud of my cakes. Nobody can be harder on me than I am on myself. That's just, I've always been this way. And sometimes I see Ella doing that and I try so hard. I'm like, no, everything you do is so perfect. But it's not always learned behavior. Some people are just like that. Like, they're just hard on themselves. So anyway, I try to give myself grace when I can and remind myself, I'm just always like, oh, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. But like when my friends or family or kids do something, I'm always like so supportive, and I always think everything they did is amazing. Like, I'm always like, wow, that is great. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's just something that's wrong with me, I guess. But anyway, I was actually so happy with how the cake came out that I cried. Again, I will put a little disclaimer here that I was PMSing, but I actually cried after the cake was put together. So that just goes to show you how cray I am.
We won't hide in the
What I didn't show was me like getting mad at these layers, being like, okay, this is still like crooked. I definitely for my next party need to buy like an actual cake lever that like levels out the cakes. But here I am just making a giant mess, eating the leftover scraps that were on the counter, eating my feelings. But I actually like took another layer off with the frosting on it and then had to salvage some frosting because my cake was just like the leaning tower of Ibiza. So yeah, the cakes are always a little bit stressful, but after I was done, I was like, okay, this cake is like a little lopsided. It's a weird like shape, because if you saw my video before this, I went to Michael's and got like a cake pan that I thought would be like the perfect size. But once I put the smaller cake on top of the larger cake, it pretty much barely looked like a different size. So it was not the right size. Anyway, I'm like, all right, let's just get some icing on this, get this in the fridge, like the crumb coat, and go from there. So I'm like, it is what it is. And once I started decorating, I don't know if it's a serotonin release, but when I was sitting there, most people would think like, oh my gosh, sitting there putting every little individual mermaid scale on a cake is so like annoying, or decorating is like nerve-wracking. But the house was quiet, which, is not like a usual occurrence. The house was quiet and I was able to just focus, and I was just like vibrating with happiness. I felt so good sitting there decorating that cake. If you don't know, my first major before nursing school, I was an art major. I loved art. I would paint. I would just like I don't know, I loved art and I was going to be an art teacher. And then like art school was so incredibly boring to me, and I'm sorry if you loved art school. And plus I was just like at a community college at this point going for art. I was just like, I cannot sit here and draw boxes anymore. Like, I just can't do it. And I just noticed I was slacking and I didn't like it. So then I decided, hey, I'm not going to be an art teacher. I'm going to be a nurse. And I know that probably doesn't go hand in hand, but yeah. I decided basically that I loved art as a hobby and not as a career. That's the best way to explain it. So anyway, here I am decorating this cake, living my best life. And then once I'm done with the scales, I made my first ever chocolate drip. I made a mistake with this as well. I know that they sell it in the jar, but there's just like 10,000 ingredients in it, and I just wasn't feeling that. So I looked on YouTube and I found how to make your own chocolate drip. And literally all you do is melt some chocolate and add some heavy cream to it to make it runny and go from there. However, the first person I watched said they added water to theirs, so I added water and I wasted an entire pot of chocolate. It just got really hard and it was not working. It was gross. So definitely go with the heavy cream. So now I'm starting to feel pretty happy with my cake, and I decided I wanted to add some white chocolate to the top as well. And then I had leftover chocolate, so I was like, let's make some more chocolate molds for the cake for our shells. And I was like, oh yeah, I did see somebody made like a stand on their cake, and I have leftover cookies from dipping the chocolate, so let's make some sand on our cake as well. But first, I'm just putting some water here on our fondant and adding some glitter. Also, yes, I say fondant. It's just how I say it. I know.
I'll be sitting here wrapped in your arms. So let go of the things you hear. I'm not going anywhere without you. So put a little faith in me, though you're scared. No, I made it hard for you, but I can't. Now I wanna make you part of my plans. Put a little faith in me, though you're scared. Sometimes I feel like we're getting nowhere, nowhere, and nowhere, no.
Alright, the cake is made, it's wrapped in plastic, and it's in the fridge until tomorrow, and then before the party starts, I'll take it out before people get here, and it'll be just perfect. So now we're moving on to the next most tedious task, which is blowing up all of these balloons. So yeah, also you'll see I still didn't put my rug out in the living room yet. I think I'm going to wait till my fall clean and decorate to put that out in the living room. But anyway, yes, blowing up balloons with my babies. Yes, it takes a lot longer with them here, but they really enjoy this and they love helping and playing keepy uppy. So this is my first time doing the balloon arch a little bit differently. I am doing it in sections. Usually I just put it all on balloon tape and throw it up, but I'm doing it in sections because I'm trying to get it to look like a mermaid tail. Did it look like a mermaid tail? Not necessarily, but it was also really cute. I keep saying that for Everly's birthday in November because she's our next birthday party. Obviously Chris's birthday is November 11th, Evie's November 23rd, but we don't usually do like a big birthday party for us. We usually just do it for the kids. So like the next birthday party for the kids is November 23rd or somewhere around that range. I think actually it's like right the day before Thanksgiving this year. So I have no idea what we're going to do for that yet. But the only thing that she's genuinely obsessed with is Cocomelon. So I might have to throw a Cocomelon birthday party. I know everyone's like, Cocomelon's the devil, but I like Cocomelon. So this was earlier in the day. We just wanted to keep like the balloon footage together, and this is a blowing up a shell. Ella saw on Pinterest a little girl sitting on a giant shell, and I looked it up, and it was like crazy expensive. And then I found this float, which is a great size, from Walmart for 28 bucks. I was like, wow, that's amazing. I was still able to make her dreams come true. But you know, I don't care how much money you have. You don't need to spend like a bunch of money on something that you're going to use once. Just my own thought process. But this was very affordable. Like everything is from Amazon. And then including this tablecloth. The backdrop, we always use a backdrop around underneath our balloon arch. And that was also from Amazon. I tried to put it in the sun so that it would get some of the wrinkles out. One of you actually taught me that. So that's what I'm doing, setting up the tables and all of that. It's later in the night now, and we are finally going to go ahead and hang up the backdrop and start putting our balloon arch together. Everyone always asks how I hang this up. So the backdrop is made with, I put it up with command strips. Chris showed you. This I am tacking up and taping up. I always do that right here. That's just how we do it. And you can see how I'm doing little sections here, and then this one is a longer section because I knew I wanted to go across the top. So you can get the idea, even though it doesn't necessarily look like a tail. Because we have young kids like Everly, I can't start it on the floor. So if you started it on the floor, it might look more like a tail. But if I would have had balloons starting on the floor, it would have been off the wall in 2 seconds. Now I'm just taping in any balloons, that's where it seems like a little bald looking or where I think they would look nice. So that's another little tip. I just go ahead and tape the balloons in. I always get like people messaging me, giving me tips who do this for a living, and I love you guys so much. But this is just how I'm used to doing it. Maybe if I had like more time to figure out different techniques, but I think it came out pretty and I really like it. Alright, so here we are making a banner for Ella on the Cricut. I showed you guys this paper that I found at Michael's I was really happy about. Chris timed me. He was like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I'm just wanting to let you know that you spent a total of 2 hours on making the banner and the centerpieces. And I was like, oh wow, really? But, you know, it was eye-opening. I could have started it earlier, but at this point in my life with my businesses and 4 kids, I kind of just have to go day by day. Like right now, I'm not having enough time to do things way in advance. I'm kind of just have to think, you know, obviously I'm a planner and I like to plan and all of that, but there's only one of me. So I have to like take things day by day, what task needs to be done that day. It's been harder to do stuff in advance. So that's all I'm saying. And I'm not complaining either. I'm just saying this is sometimes my life. Sometimes it's like where you can do stuff ahead of time, and then sometimes it's like, okay, we get done what we can get done today. So these bins and the filler are from Dollar Tree. You might have seen me buy that in my Dollar Tree like shop with me, get it all done video. And now I'm just taping some straws onto here, just, you know, just winging it, but it came out cute. So you'll see everything put together at the end. I'm going to do overviews of everything, but here's what we got for the goodie bags this year. Alright, it's pretty late at night at this point. I am going to start dipping my pretzels in chocolate and adding my sprinkles to it. I'm going to hang up the banner and the 4 balloon, and then we're going to start on prepping fruit. So I usually just buy like a fruit platter, but they all just didn't look good to me, and I just wanted to be able to give our guests like fresh, delicious fruit and not like, you know, not settle on spending like $25 or more on a fruit tray with like half rotten fruit. So that's why I'm doing this ahead of time, and it actually came out perfectly.
Friends are nearby, don't need another view. Time is not on my mind, but then it's you. Oh, I love it when the love comes around, and then I remember all things must pass. But I'm not gonna wake up, wake up. I'm not ready, let me have another day. Don't wake up, wake up. Keep it steady, cause I'm happy, I'm not gonna wake up. No, no, not yet. Whoa, no, not yet. Whoa, no, no, not yet. Whoa. But I'm not gonna wake up, wake up. Don't wake up, wake up. Keep it steady, cause I'm happy, I'm not gonna wake up, wake up. I'm not ready, let me have another day. Don't wake up, wake up. Keep it steady, cause I'm happy, I'm not gonna wake up. No, no, not yet. Whoa, no, not yet. Whoa, no, no, not yet. Whoa. I'm not gonna wake up. If I try,
I thought that this looked so pretty in here, which is just like our really big produce bin that we've had from Target. So I just wound up actually leaving it like this out with like spoons in each section at the party, and it worked out great. So now I'm starting on my watermelon, and I'm gonna put that in its own separate little produce container. And then after that, we're just going to put away our pretzels and start icing our cupcakes. I told you before I had to throw away the vanilla cupcakes. You'll see me in here be like, wait, why are these so hard? But yeah, I couldn't serve them. And then after that, I think it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, so I finally put myself to bed, and then I started back up the next day. Okay, it is party day. Also, don't mind my dogs barking in the background. Sorry if they're also making your dogs bark. But I'm setting up this little like cardboard cupcake stand. It's Mermaid. I got it on Amazon. And I'm just going to start setting up little things for the party. After this, I'm not going to put like desserts out until I'm done like decorating the kitchen with just like the tablecloth and getting everything set up, but I just wanted to get that set up and out of the way. Then I am hanging up some little decorations on my lights here in the kitchen. And then Ella, we found this like little cute not cupcake, cake decoration at Dollar Tree. So I let Ella put that together. It wound up like not even being able to stand up straight. So it's actually in their play kitchen, but you know, it all works out. So these that I've been hanging on the lights, I'm also going to hang on the umbrellas outside. I also use it as a banner. It came with like a lot, so I didn't exactly have a plan for it. So like some I wound up like cutting to make the right size for the lights, and then this was a good size for the mantle. So it just all came together. One of the hardest parts about summer birthdays for me is that you never know how hot it's going to be, if you're going to actually want to be outside. For Carter's birthday, we ordered a water slide, and his birthday is June 20th, and it wound up being like a freezing cold day. You just never know with the weather. So that's the hardest part for me about like deciding what to decorate outside and what to decorate inside. So I just did a little bit of stuff out here, but I did most of the stuff inside. And then it just wound up that it was probably like half and half. Towards the end of the party, we had like water stuff outside. That's just like our stuff. We didn't rent anything. And the kids had a blast on that. But towards the beginning of the party, it was too hot for that. I ripped this shell. This decoration I honestly wouldn't recommend. I got it from Party City, and it was just like so-so. So these took time and effort to put together. So if you are doing a mermaid themed birthday party and you're getting these, I would definitely recommend doing it the night before, because it does take effort, but they're gorgeous. They're so cute. They come with like little double-sided tape to put the little tentacles inside, but I had to wind up taping it on top of that because they were blowing away outside. If they were inside, maybe they would have stayed on good, but I love how these came out. They're so adorable. So while I'm working on that, the kids are working on filling the pinata. Since we let them fill it, we had a very hard time hanging it. It kept breaking because we made the pinata so heavy, but it all worked out. They wound up being able to hang it a different way with like zip ties and stuff, but it was a really cute pinata, and I let Ella pick it from Amazon, so she liked this one.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? yourself, 'cause you're a work of art. You should know that you are perfect with those flaws. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Know that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine.
So now on this side, I'm just hanging up the thing that I said that wasn't exactly worth it, but it was nice to have something on this wall. And then this table here, I wound up putting like a tablecloth and everything on it. That's where the face painter was set up. So that was like every at-home birthday party that we have, we usually like do something like that, whether it's a face painter or renting a water slide or just doing something like that. The face painter was what Ella wanted. So yeah, that's what we had.
And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Shine, go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. Shine, darling, go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine.
Okay, finally, I am just setting everything up, and then I'm going to go ahead and shower and start putting out all the food and everything like that. But it all worked out. Thank God for coffee, right? But I hope that like these videos give you motivation and confidence to try doing some stuff by yourself. You don't have to do it all. If you want to hire everybody to do everything, you can do that too. Whatever works for you and your family is what works for you. You don't have to compare yourself to anybody, any of that. Just do you. That's all. It's really, really easy, and do what makes you happy. Don't feel pressure from people to put like this amazing party on. This is just like, this is what our family lives for. We live for our kids' birthday parties. We just enjoy doing it. The kids love it. It's what we talk about all year. I always tell you this. They're just like a really big deal in our family. If you want to invite a couple of friends over and order pizza and watch a movie, and that's what makes you and your family happy, you're allowed to do that. I just wish that people would realize you can do whatever works for you and your family, and you let other people do whatever works for them and their family. It's really very simple. Also, to all the moms out there who are working full-time or just working outside of the house and don't have time for this, that's okay. It's totally okay. I used to work 3 12-hour shifts overnight, but somehow, like on my days off, I would figure out how to do stuff for the party. I have always been like this before YouTube, before any kind of social media. I just always enjoyed doing this. My sister and I used to say that we were going to start an event planning company together. We did my sister-in-law's baby shower together, and her and I are both the same way like this. She is very extra like this with her parties too. It's just like the way we are. I don't know. It's our hobby. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there like this though. This is definitely one of my favorite parts, where I just feel like you can see all of your work and ideas coming together. So I love this part, just setting up, and I made it a point to be ready by a certain time and to start setting up by a certain time so that when everybody walked in, everything was just out and I wasn't still doing stuff. So I did accomplish that this time, which was nice. And one of my goals for my parties is to make sure that everything is visible and everybody can see everything, so that nobody has to have to ask me for stuff, which obviously of course they're allowed to ask me, but I want everything there. So I even put little labels to tell you what every single dip was. These are just cupcake toppers. They're not beautiful, but they're informative. Yeah, and just even down to having the napkins and plates and utensils very visible, and cups and all of that. That's my goal. Also, the food that we got catered for this party was from Mission Barbecue. They did a great job catering. We got a brisket, mac and cheese, barbecue chicken, green beans. I made beans in the crock pot. Yeah, but I was really happy. Here is an overview of everything. And if you want to see how the party went down, Chris will be having the actual party vlog up soon. So stay tuned for that on Beaston Family Vibes. But I hope that you all enjoyed this video and that it gave you some inspiration. I even made a little coffee bar over here. This is what the centerpieces look like. I don't know if you ever got to see that. I had a pot of coffee on for when people got here. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this. Please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.